What's up, guys? I'm Drizzle Hoffman. Today I'm Maker's Best Friend. I'm going to show you guys how to put together the new sled design for the Maslow CNC. Check it out. To begin, I went to the Maslow CNC website to download their files for cutting the sled. Since I've already built the original Maslow, I can skip cutting out a temporary sled and go to the step of calibrating and downloading the files. However, if this is your first time, I'll link my original video for making your temporary sled at the end of this video. Cutting out this new sled design is extremely easy since the Maslow team has provided the SVG files with the drilling paths already programmed in. Therefore, using the free MakerCamp software, all you have to do is click Generate Toolpaths and export the G-code to the ground control software, and then you're ready to start cutting. So the first thing we're going to do with the sled after it's cut out is actually sand down the end of it that's going to be against the plywood, because after we put in the screws it's going to be a little bit harder. We want to make sure this is smooth, and then we're actually going to angle the edges so that when this is moving around other cuts on the actual Maslow, it'll be able to ride up on those parts. So we're going to start with that. I'm just going to sand down the front and sand down the angles around it. Alright, so now that that's done, we can actually go on to attaching all the parts to it. Something to realize, I mentioned before that the Maslow team provides the paths for actually cutting this to make it a little bit easier. You don't really have to do a lot of work on your end. However, they put markings here on the side that's actually against a piece of plywood. I'm guessing the reason that is to show you markings of where to put your L brackets. But you're going to be attaching to the other side, and those are with small screws, so that's probably why they didn't want to cut into it. But these are great. Because now I can put a little indentation to it. I'm assuming it's supposed to be something along the lines of the center of this L bracket should go around that indentation for placement. I'm going to keep an eye out to make sure that we're still placing this ring in the center, because that's the most important part. But we'll take a look at that when we get to it. So now the first step now, after smoothing everything out, is to actually attach the router. And I'm going to attach the Z-axis too. If you don't have a Z-axis, you should get one, but you can skip that step, so check it out. So to make this a little bit easier, I actually recommend for you guys to remove this base plate from the actual router. There's a release here for the rigid router, if that's the router you guys are working with, and then this centerpiece comes right out. That'll make it a lot easier when we're measuring out these holes and screwing everything together. So now we're going to attach this using the same screws that were provided for this attached to the base plate. And the important thing is to make sure that this is just centered so that everything is aligned with the center of this circle here. And I'm going to also make sure that the vacuums come out the bottom here so that it's not going to interfere with the bricks placed on the left and right here. So the next step is actually to remove the handles from the router, because that's going to get in the way of the ring kit. This was not an easy task. I definitely did it the wrong way. I screwed up the caps because it's not just a flat head screwdriver for this specific router that can get it out. So I ended up putting a screw into it and just pulling that sucker out, because it was not coming out any other way. To remove the actual bolt within the handle, I'm actually just going to use an 8mm hex key. After you remove the handles, we can then attach the ring kit to it. Check it out. I started by attaching each of the L brackets to the ring bracket. This would allow me to place each of the brackets on the marked holes while being the correct distance apart from each other. To ensure that the markings were correct, I measured the center distance to each of the L brackets to make sure they were all equal. I then pre-drilled holes and screwed in the brackets to the sled. After you know the placement of the L brackets, you can also screw in the Z-axis now that you know it won't get in the way. So after we have the ring attached to the sled, we're now going to attach the carriages to the ring. So the way you're going to attach this is you're going to actually take the bolt and pass that through the rider, and you're going to have a washer on each side of the bearing. And then that's going to be along the actual ring so that I could run across it. After we attach the ring to the sled, we just need to attach the bricks using the wood slots that were cut out with the SVG file. Make sure that these are bolted on tight so that the bricks don't fall during the cutting. Then once that's attached, we're going to take the chain from the Maslow sled and pass that through the hole at the top, and then you're going to attach the pin on the other side so it gets attached that way. Pass it through. That movement right there, where it's turning, and I could already tell, that means, even before I start cutting, I can tell that is perfectly in the center there. That worked out really well with the placement. That's awesome. I'm really excited to get started cutting with this guy. Unfortunately, I don't have enough time to cut it before I post this video, so in one of the next videos, I'm going to be doing the whole test of the tolerance with this new design, and then I'll finally get to get some more projects out using this new design. Eventually, I'm going to get to actually upgrading the frame with the top design, so keep your eyes out for that. I hope this video was helpful for you. If you guys enjoyed it, go ahead and like below. If you have any questions or comments, go ahead and comment below. And if you want to see more videos like this, go ahead and subscribe. As always, thanks again for watching, guys.